Moony B. Finch, The Fastest Drawer in the West, by David McPhail. Moony B. Finch loved to draw. He could draw so well that sometimes what he drew became real. Moony might draw a kangaroo. Then he would lay his hand on the drawing and the kangaroo would jump right off the page. If he wanted to make the kangaroo disappear, Moony would draw it again. Then he'd take his just-in-case eraser and erase the new drawing. And as he did so, the kangaroo would vanish, line by line, stroke by stroke. One beautiful spring day, Moony tucked his drawing pad under his arm and set out along the abandoned railroad track that ran behind his house. When he reached the boarded-up railroad station, Moony thought about how exciting it would be if an entire train suddenly appeared. He sat down on the platform and imagined what an old passenger train would look like. Then he drew it. When Moony was finished, he laid his hand on the picture. Suddenly the earth trembled beneath Moony's feet, and then the screech of a train whistle pierced the air. Above it all, Moony could hear the voice of the conductor calling, "All aboard!" Moony didn't hesitate. He stuffed his pencil and eraser into his pocket and jumped on board the departing train. "Ticket, please," demanded the conductor as soon as Moony sat down. Moony didn't have a ticket, but he drew one and handed it to the waiting conductor. Soon the train was racing through the countryside, streaking past cow-filled fields and big red barns brimming with hay. Moony looked around the compartment at his fellow passengers. Sitting opposite him was a well-dressed pig who was dropping coins into a large satchel. Behind the pig, two hen sisters were singing a song in perfect harmony, and across from them a family of raccoons was squabbling over an ear of corn. Alone at the back of the car, a sleeping cowboy lay sprawled across two seats. The train had left the town far behind and was racing through the countryside when, without warning, there was a terrible screeching of brakes and the train lurched to a halt. "Don't anybody move!" shouted the cowboy. He was waving a huge pistol in the air. "Hand over all your valuables," he demanded. He took off his hat and held it out. "Drop everything in here." The two hen sisters had nothing to give, so they spit into the robber's hat. The raccoons dropped in their buttery, half-eaten ear of corn. "Yuck!" cried the robber. "You'll get my hat all greasy," but it was too late. A large and spreading grease spot appeared in the bottom of the hat. The well-dressed pig squealed and whined, but when the robber pressed the pistol to his nose, the pig dumped the contents of his satchel into the hat. Next, it was Moony's turn. "I don't have anything valuable," he explained. "Empty out your pockets," snapped the robber. Moony did as he was told. "What are those things for?" asked the robber, pointing to the pencil and the eraser. "I use them to draw pictures," replied Moony. "Then draw a picture of me," said the robber. "All right," said Moony. "Hold still." Moony took his pencil, and with a few deft strokes, he drew a perfect likeness of the robber. "Why, it looks just like him," remarked the pig. "Yes, ugly," the raccoons agreed. "Not ugly enough," clucked the sisters. While this debate was going on, Moony picked up his eraser and began to erase. First the gun. "Hey, where'd my gun go?" yelled the robber. "It was only a cap pistol anyway," said the pig with a sneer. Then Moony erased the hat, and all the valuables that the robber had collected fell to the floor. During the wild scramble for the coins and the other booty, Moony continued to erase. Suddenly, everyone started laughing. "Look," howled the raccoons, pointing to the robber. "He doesn't have any pants." The robber stood up and looked down. Sure enough, his pants were gone. The robber let out a shriek and dashed to the door, running right into the arms of the conductor. "I've got you now, Wild Willie," said the conductor. "You won't be robbing any more trains for a long time." Moony decided it was time for him to go home. He walked to the door and jumped off the train just as it began to move again. Then Moony sat down in the warm grass beside the track and watched the train chug away. He made one more drawing. Moony drew his house and his yard, with the laundry fluttering in the gentle breeze. He drew his mother and father sitting on the back step. Finally, Moony drew himself, sitting between his mother and father. Then he stopped drawing and touched the paper.